Good morning, it's Jimmy, and we're back in Denver in the import section of the Junkyard today. As usual, if you like what you see, please do subscribe and like. Leave comments below. We'll try to answer them, or if we don't, somebody else will. Today, we have a very special visitor, a 1995 Mercedes-Benz E420. That's on the W124 chassis, which was introduced in the US for model year 1986. Production started late 1984. And the sedans were sold through, 1995 model year. So this is the last year of this model. And this one's really cool because this is the V8 model. Well, there were actually two V8s, right? There was obviously the really ultra expensive 500E or E500, which was finished by Porsche on their production line, just because Mercedes and Porsche had a bit of a relationship. And apparently there were issues fitting it down the production line in Stuttgart, so I don't know, but yeah, Porsche did fit the engine for the 500E, but this is the 420E, also known as the E400, when it was introduced for 1992. So this, being a later model, has the updated front grille. In this case, the grille assembly is all part of the hood. In the older models, so up till 1992, the hood ended here, and the grille was a tacked on piece that also hung down just like this one, but the hood did not have this the descending piece right there. These are super cool. I mean, the styling is very timeless. This pretty much brought Mercedes into the modern era, along with the 190E. These are very long-lasting cars, probably not quite on the order of the W123, which is obviously famous for being probably the most overbuilt Mercedes ever. But this probably is second place in that regard. They're phenomenal. They last quite a long time, and they keep going. They're solid, beautiful cars, wonderful cruisers, quite quick actually, and just super refined. So let's take a look at the whole thing, and we'll get to the engine also. Obviously, we'll look at the inside, and we'll look at the trunk. Like I said, this is the later model, so the side cladding was revised, kind of a smooth cladding instead of any kind of ribbing on there or texture. These were a contrasting color usually to the body. You had these large headlights, which were always, you never had the smaller inset ones. So since these came out in 86, for the US, you always had the large flush lights. This one has the front wipers, which are very cool, interesting. Cleans the headlights of slush, snow, mud, whatever may be on them. And I believe, is there a sprayer on these? Yeah, I guess they did have a squirter. If you squirted when the headlights were on and your wipers were on, those would go also. I actually used to own one of these. Not this model year. I had a 1992 400E, and oh my goodness, what a wonderful car. That V8 really made all the difference. Obviously, W124s in the US are well known for their 6-cylinder engines, but the 8s are marvelous as well. Some cool little things is the passenger side mirror is smaller than the driver's side one, which is always interesting. But I believe it's for aerodynamics, and you can see out of it pretty well. It's not bad. The door handles are just like everything else in Mercedes, just a positive pull, which is for rescuers, so they could just, pull the door handle instead of having to do anything else. And I mean, just listen to that. Still super solid. Love that. The wheels, these are the, 8-spoke wheels, which kind of finished off with this generation. I think they're just 15s, right? Yeah, a 205/60 R15 was the tire spec on these, so not much bigger, if any, than the 320 6-cylinder version. The 500E or E500 got, I believe, slightly bigger rolling stock. Definitely got wider fenders in the front, but the 400 and 420 was the same as the 300. Something happened to the back of this one. That's probably why it's here. Looks like it was in proximity to some kind of fire, which is not good. So you had the rear lights here, they're kind of melted, but they've got the fluted design, just like everything Mercedes of the era. Pretty flush back end here, kind of high, which is good for aerodynamics. And yeah, nice, very nice trunk. But we'll get back to the trunk in a second. There's the badging, which is sadly missing, but you can still see the remnants. So E420. Didn't actually say Mercedes on it anywhere. You just have the star, obviously. And what else? Yeah, I mean, obviously pretty flush. These were quite aerodynamic in their day, and definitely a counterpoint styling-wise to the the Audi 100, right? Which was the most aerodynamic-looking sedan of its time. So let's look at the, oops, almost tripped. Let's look at the engine first. So hood's popped. Pull that open. And look at this. We still have a 3-point star here. Very nice. And with the surround, says Mercedes-Benz. And here you go. This is the M119 motor. 4 liter, is it 4 liter or 4.2? Gosh, I believe it's 4.2 actually. V8, made it to a 4-speed automatic gearbox. Very cool. You have dual air intakes, one on each side, one feeding each bank of cylinders. The whole airbox assembly, well, I guess you do. You have, as I recall, we have 2 air filters in here, and I don't know if I can open them. Let's see. Yep, a million clamps. There we go. Does it go? Yep. So this one's not fully released. My goodness, I'm making a mess of this, aren't I? Oh, there we go. So yep, this one's got the 2 air filters in there, both frames in this case, and then there's the intake, the throttle bodies down there. So these are cool, and they're certainly crammed in there, but they're not that difficult to work on. Everything really makes a lot of sense, as with most things of Mercedes from this kind of generation. You can get to most things. It's not terrible at all. These had 275 horsepower and a boatload of torque, and you know, off the line, they may not have been the fastest things, but once they spooled up a little bit, they definitely started moving. So, for example, if you're on the freeway and you're doing 50 miles an hour and you just floor it, it just downshifts a gear or maybe 2 and just rockets off into the distance. Very, very satisfying car to drive. Really, really nice, super smooth, quiet, and just lovely. 2 horns here up front, double fans on the radiator. Everything's just overbuilt and just solidly marvelous. Can't go wrong with one of these. So this one, the hood pad is laying over here. It apparently fell off and someone ripped it off, but nice solid hood. Super nice car, super nice engine. Really can't find much to fault on a E420 or 400E if you happen to come across one. They last for quite a long time, but they're not, you know, there weren't that many of them. The E320 and the 300E obviously sold many more times, so they're kind of an overlooked bargain actually if you can find one. Let's look in the trunk. So let's see, this one had the optional Mercedes-Benz CD changer of the era. This is the spare tires down there. This would have been the cover that goes over it, and this actually would have been, yeah, that fits inside the spare like that, and then the cover just goes on like that. There would have been a whole trunk mat, trunk liner in here. Let's see what else is here. This may have been for the phone if there was one, which in this case there probably was. Fuel tank, as usual, is behind the rear seat, which is super safe. And then by this era, Mercedes started lining their trunks, right? Still painted black, but you had a full carpeted trunk liner, which was nice. Conventional hinges, which work fine with springs, almost never fails. An exhaust manifold from something, and a, looks like an ECU, I don't know, something from 0265, whatever that is. Don't know if it's from, don't think it's from this car. We'll just leave that. So, and like I said, there's the CD changer. Yeah, let's take a look inside. Because these are not, I mean, this one has a lot of miles on it, I think, but let's take a look. So this is nice. This is obviously the exterior is silver, interior is black. Pretty classic combination. Although, you know, you see more, oh, mine was gray inside, the one I had. And you see a lot of them with a tan. The black is nice. It's on the rare side. As with any W124, you have the, or most Mercedes of the era, you have the seat controls here. Separate one for the headrest, up and down. Memory, which is nice. And here's something they did. In the older ones, like the 92, like mine, this mirror was still adjusted manually. So by 1995, they added that to both sides. And you know, part of that was obviously a response to competitors like Lexus, which made a big splash with the LS400 at a bargain price and really forced Mercedes and others to kind of up their game and really start controlling costs, which caused problems for quite a while, and it definitely changed the industry, I must say. So let's see, what do we have? We have large comfortable seats here. These were still padded with, I believe, real springs, not just foam. Super comfortable, all day comfortable, really lovely. Full instrumentation, so premium unleaded fuel. This one has 193,831 miles on the clock, which is, oh, there's still plenty of life left in this one. This one, because of that fire, is most likely why it ended up here. You have the clock, which is lovely, and then obviously water, you know, full set of gauges, as you'd expect. Headlights are here, parking lights, right side and left side, something Americans do not understand how they work or why you would use them, but anyone in Europe totally understands why. Parking brake release, parking brake down there, and then nice big stalks for the wipers, a little daintier one for the cruise control, an airbag. You got a passenger airbag. The W124 never got a glove box after it went to a passenger airbag for 92, I believe. So that's kind of a bummer. It definitely cuts down the storage in the cabin. This is lovely. I love the automatic climate control where, you know, you can adjust it, automatic, up the fan, do whatever. The easiest way is just to put on auto, and if you want it colder, dial this down. If you want it hotter, dial that up. Adjust the temperature and the fan speed, which is great. This is one of the best buttons here. Click this one, the rear headrests go down. So it scares the heck out of the rear passengers if you do that. But if you want to back up, it's far easier just to lower them. And this is nice because as a driver, you just lower them. If you want to back up though, you have to get out and pull them up manually. What other buttons do we have? This, obviously the hazard lights. I don't think I've seen this one. Snow tires, is it traction control off? Mine did not have that button, so I did have traction control, but I wonder if this turns it off. It looks like a snow tire, doesn't it? That's the dome light, and then is that recirculation? Yeah, I guess it's recirculation for the AC. Obviously the defroster. You have the standard Mercedes-Benz tape deck here, which also controlled the CD player, ashtray, obviously. This one had heated seats, which is lovely. Mine did not have that. And then you had the 4 power window switches, and this was for the side view mirrors. And these did start off in second, but you could start them in first manually, or just stomp on it and it'll downshift to first. A cool little roller shade here for this little storage compartment, which was lockable, really nice. And then armrest here, there we go. Button on the side, and then there we go. See, there was a phone. I thought these came with a phone. So that's the old Mercedes-Benz built-in car phone. Very, very cool. These don't work anymore because they're analog, not digital. But man, you were captain of industry when you had one of these in your car, I must say. And it's cool because it's factory, right? It's not additional. So let's see what else. This one has the, oh, that's interesting. So send, is that a trip computer? I'm not quite sure. It looks like, or maybe it's a speaker. When you have this little unit, it's hard to see because the light's coming in, sorry. You lose the third, what do you call it? Sun visor. So usually the E-Class has a third sun visor that pops down here behind the mirror or in front of the mirror so that sun doesn't come in. But when you have this little unit, it did away with that. Let's see, what else? Sunroof. You have a large sunroof up here. And this is interesting. This just kind of a slightly darker headliner. Or it's just from age, I think. It's really the off-white, but it's kind of age dark. But big sunroof. Controls obviously up here. It's nice. And yeah, let's see what else. Wonderfully large sill plates here, Mercedes-Benz. This one was built in February 1995 in Stuttgart, or by Mercedes-Benz Stuttgart. These were built all over the place. I think these were built in Stuttgart, but do not hold me to that, please. I could be off track. Yeah, super, super nice car. Let's pop in the back seat. Why don't we? And the back seat, well, the back seat is missing. Someone took it. Some floor mats here. These had the nice armrests there for the passengers. There were let's see, how does this work? Yeah, you had a lap belt for the center passenger, and you had shoulder belts for the outboard ones. No cup holders, as you'll notice. That was not yet a thing for Mercedes. So if you're in the Mercedes, you should be driving or paying attention, not drinking and eating. So yeah, that's how it is. The E500, by the way, I believe the first year or two, maybe all the way through, was only a 4-seater. So there was kind of a console in the middle, and you could not put 5 in it. That may have changed for the later years, such as 95, but in the beginning, I believe that's how they all were. But again, super nice rear. I mean, fully padded, soft. Well, this is part soft. Rear door panel. Nice wood. The wood's different. This is a burl walnut, I believe, as opposed to Zebrano that the regular E320s got over here in the US anyway. It was probably different in other markets. And I'm not sure who all got the E420 actually. Was that available worldwide? I know the E320 was pretty much was. There were obviously a lot of smaller engine ones. The 500 definitely was. But the E420 and the 400E, I'm not sure if that was everywhere. Someone let me know. But yeah, like I said, we did get them. The price started at what? I want to say 57,000 for this car in this year. About that. So quite a lot of money, or 57, 52.9, something like that, somewhere in the low to mid 50s, which was a lot of money in 1995. So yeah, but man, V8 power, W124 chassis, just unburstable, quiet, luxurious, lovely, lovely car. Yeah, and that's it. So thank you very much for joining me again. Again, if you liked what you saw, please do subscribe and like, and we'll keep making these, all right? Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.